It is time again for our weekly Chat with the Chancellor series here on the Rural Radio Network. And this week we have the privilege of sitting down with the Chancellor from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. That is Dr. Rodney Bennett. Good to see you, sir.
Bryce, good morning to you. Good afternoon. Good evening to you. Good night to you. Wherever our listeners are tuning into this, greetings to each of them.
It is hard to believe. You were asking how long we've been doing this program together. I said, well, how long have you been Chancellor? Year and a half now? Is that right?
It's really unbelievable to think that a year and a half has passed. In such a good way, it doesn't feel like I've been in Nebraska nearly that long. But we have gotten so much accomplished in really a short amount of time. And certainly coming off of Thanksgiving and turning the corner and heading towards the finish line for Christmas, I am very, very thankful and grateful and really feel like just an amazing space that I'm in to have been so well received by the people of the state of Nebraska. The fact is not lost on me that the university has had tremendous transition over the last several years. And I hope that our alumni and our donors and friends of the university, and really just the citizens of the state of Nebraska, really are sensing a place of calm and focus and direction and a place of stability, because I think that with what we do every day in public higher education against the backdrop in which we are being asked to do it, stability is really key and really important. I'm very grateful for the Board of Regents and for the governor, very grateful for Jeffrey Gold, our new system president, and I'm happy to report that all of those entities, all of that governance structure is really working hard and working together and very collegial and very transparent. And I just know after 30 plus years of working in higher education that when you have that dynamic in place, there are really no limitations to what we can accomplish. So, the Chancellor's just feeling really grateful right now. I'm just feeling like it's a good place for me to be, a good place for my family to be. I love the work ethic of the Midwest and of Nebraskans. Speaks to who I am and who I have always been growing up. And I'm really happy to do my part to sort of lead this great university into its next chapter.
Well, there's been a lot of things, a lot of news items coming out of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Perhaps we can highlight a few of them coming up here in a few moments. But first, let's go back a year and a half as you assumed the role as Chancellor of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Were there one or two things, I'm sure it's hard to narrow it down to just a couple, but where did you want to put your time and focus as you began leading this institution?
When I think back a year and a half or so ago, I really wanted to establish a sense of calmness and stability and focus and being very intentional. We have a lot of moving parts every day. We have a lot of competing interests. We have 24,000 plus or minus students. We have 6,000 plus or minus employees. Our footprint and the equity in our iconic Big Red Inn goes all around the world. So one of the goals that I had was to really create a sense of stability and focus and being very intentional and making sure that we did not lose sight of the main thing. And the main thing for me was the growth and development and the success of our students, first and foremost. And then really embracing what it means to be a land-grant institution and how the work that we do here on campus and at all of our sites across the state are really elevating the citizenry of the state of Nebraska and making sure that Nebraskans see themselves at their state university, at their land-grant university. And then I wanted the people of the state of Nebraska to be proud of the Chancellor, to sort of look at the work that I'm leading and that I'm doing and feel like that I'm doing a good job. That doesn't mean that they would always agree with every decision that's made and, every outcome, but they would know and have a level of comfort with the fact that the Chancellor is doing the things that the Chancellor should be doing it in the way in which the Chancellor should be doing it. And I think that after a year and a half or so, I feel really good about what I just said, that we're moving in the right direction, and we have a lot of people who believe in us, who are supporting us, who know that we have not lost sight of the bread and butter of this university. And I'll just add that, while we celebrate engineering and we celebrate architecture and we celebrate law, we celebrate the humanities and the liberal arts, and we celebrate business and all these really important disciplines, the foundation for the University of Nebraska has been our work in the ag and natural resource space. And I have vowed through the interview process and over the last year and a half that during my chancellorship, we would never lose sight of that we would continue to put that at the forefront and continue to do all that we could to be a national and a world leader as it relates to all things related to agriculture and natural resources. And I'm very proud of our work in that space, and I think that really good things are still to come.
Well, there's certainly some success stories. We look back over the past few months in that space in agriculture. Let's highlight a couple of them. Maybe we start here at the Eastern Nebraska Research, Education, and Extension Center near Meade. The Klosterman Feedlot Innovation Center now has cattle, I see, and it's quite the hands-on opportunity for students to learn real things, and I believe that's probably one of the largest research feedlots in the world, correct?
Yeah, it is. But the thing about the feedlot that is very exciting to me and what our stakeholders tell us, and it really is in line with what the governor has talked about, is how we provide our students with experiential opportunities that make them job ready on day one. And while the lectures are important and classroom instruction is critical to what we do, the ability to take our students out to that feedlot, so generously provided and supported by the Klosterman family, and have the opportunity to work hands-on with upwards of 240 head or so of cattle and livestock there is really critical to how our students sort of transition from their coursework and their course of study here at the university into their careers and be able to have an impact on day one. And that alignment between the university and the governor and the governance structure is really critical and important to us, and something I'm very proud of.
Also up at NREC, there was a ribbon cutting for a new initiative within precision agriculture that's called N-Farms. What can you share with us about that?
Well, the N-Farms, which stands for Nebraska Future Ag Research and Management Systems. So for everybody listening, that will be on your quiz at the end of the week. And it is a comprehensive sort of course of study, so you will see that again. I encourage you to highlight it, circle it, underline it, and be able to commit that acronym to the Nebraska Future Ag Research and Management System. And that will elevate new technologies to allow us to take risks that farmers may not be able to do on their own, with their own facilities and with their own systems. So this allows for advancements to be made in a timely fashion for faster adaptation to agriculture operations. And I think that's part of what our land grant mission calls us to do, is to create these sort of spaces for the citizens of the state to be able to benefit from the research and the work that we're doing here at the university.
Thank you, Chancellor, as always, for your time. In case you missed it, that is the voice of the Chancellor of the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, Dr. Rodney Bennett, our special guest this week here on the Chat with the Chancellor series on the Rural Radio Network. I'm Bryce Doeschot reporting.